Hey again, it's Ed from eatingconsciously.com, and today I am going to show you how to make some kombucha tea. It's really quick and easy to make kombucha, and while it's very expensive to buy the bottled kind that they sell in the health food stores, it's very inexpensive to make at home. So, the basic process is you're going to make a tea. You're going to put a mushroom in the tea and allow it to ferment, and that's basically how you make kombucha. Now, there are a few things you're going to need before you go out and try to make your kombucha. Most importantly, you're going to need a kombucha mushroom. So, I actually have a kombucha mushroom in my refrigerator, and I will show you what that looks like. So you can order them online through a simple Google search, or if you're lucky enough to know somebody who makes kombucha regularly, they will probably have an excess amount of mushrooms because usually when you make it, you end up getting an extra mushroom out of each batch. Or they mold together and make a giant mushroom like this one, and we can just cut it in half. And you also want to have a little bit of the juice left over from the other batch because that'll help be a starter. If you don't have any of the juice, if you just buy the mushroom by itself online, you can also use distilled vinegar. So that's the most important thing. Another thing that you're really going to need is a good glass container like this one that I have right here. And that will actually help you to be able to easily maneuver it. You want to make sure that the top is kind of wide because you want it to get a lot of air. Another thing that you're going to need is like a potato sack dishcloth or some type of cheesecloth or something you can use to cover it because it will attract fruit flies. And there's one more thing you're going to need. You might want to get a heating pad. I actually found this one on Amazon, and I'll actually put it into my online store so you can get it from there. It's this one's called Hydrofarm, and it's just a heating pad that slightly heats up. It only heats up whatever's sitting on it about 10 to 20 degrees above room temperature, but it's just enough to get the kombucha going. You can see I have one going right here. And I also have some bean sprouting. Now, if you do not have it, it will actually work anyways. It'll still work if you at least put it in a warm spot. If it happens to be wintertime and your apartment's a little chillier than normal, like mine is right now, then sometimes it may take a little longer. So the whole fermentation process usually takes anywhere from about, I would say, 5 to 10 days. Now, what I'm doing right here is boiling a pot of water. And please excuse my pressure cooker. It's probably going to start making all kinds of noise and yelling at us. And also, there's just a huge mess in my kitchen right now because I've been cooking all day. So, and I'm not finished yet. So I'm going to bring the water to a boil, and then we're going to steep our tea. Okay, now, I also forgot to mention, traditionally kombucha is made with black tea, but you can use any kind of tea you want. Sometimes I use mint tea, chamomile tea, Darjeeling, I've used chai tea, so it's really, the options are endless. Right now, I've just steeped a little bit of organic green tea, and you can see because of the steam it's really hot. So, what we're going to do is add food for our kombucha. Now, I'm making about a half a gallon. So that container I showed you before was about a half a gallon. And for a half a gallon, I usually use about 1 cup of white sugar. Make sure you use plain old white sugar because that's the easiest for the kombucha to feed off of and break down. Now, I know it seems like a lot of sugar, but remember, in the final product, there really won't be that much sugar because the kombucha is actually going to break most of it down and feed off of it as an energy source. If you're making a gallon-sized one, I would probably bump it up to 2 cups of sugar. Again, your final product won't have that much sugar in it. It will still have some trace amounts, but it won't be that much. So I'm just stirring it in to let it dissolve, and this is a really important part. You want to make sure that you let this cool completely. Completely to room temperature. Because if it is not cooled completely, what is going to happen is when you turn your kombucha mushroom into the water, it will kill the mushroom if it's too hot. So we're just going to let that cool completely to room temperature. It's probably going to take at least an hour or two. And in the meantime, what you should probably think about doing is start sterilizing your container. And by sterilizing it, you can just use some hot soapy water, really hot water, and rinse it really well and let it dry completely. And also you want to sterilize any utensils you're going to use with your kombucha. For example, if you're going to stick a spoon in it, you want to sterilize that because the last thing you want to do is contaminate your kombucha and ruin the batch. So we're going to wait for that to cool down, and then I'll show you what the next step is.